How's it going, Starseekers? My name's GotCake and welcome to the channel. As always, remember to like the video if you enjoyed the review and subscribe to the channel for future Switch indie game reviews. So today we're going to be taking a look at Fight of Animals, a 1v1 fighting game where you get to pick from a host of animals to fight as, all of which are based on internet memes, such as Muscle Beluga, Walking Cat, Crowrilla and Powerhook Dog. As we hit the main menu, we see options which are pretty much standard for most fighting games. We have arcade mode, versus mode, online and training. Starting first with the training, we get to have a bit of a practice with a character of our choosing. We can play around with the training settings to set up specific scenarios and beat down our docile opponent without the fear of them fighting back. When it comes to movesets, each character has a standard heavy and light attack, which comes with variants for when they're either crouched or in the air. They each get 4 different skill attacks, which are performed by pressing the skill button whilst the thumbstick is either neutral, while holding your thumbstick either towards or away from your opponent, or whilst crouched. And these moves can be chained together to perform combos and lay the smackdown on your opponent. Each character also has their own super move, which can be performed once the super bar at the bottom of the screen is filled. This super gauge can also be expended to counter an enemy, which is useful if you're getting your ass handed to you, but can be a pain when you waste it by a fight. And I started off in arcade mode. You're able to select a difficulty setting before you begin, and this ranges from very easy to very hard, and I chose the middle ground and went with normal. You then get to pick from the roster of 7 different animals, with Crowzilla being my first choice. In my first battle I was pitted against Magic Squirrel, who being the first arcade opponent and a squirrel, and actually thought I was going to destroy. But I massively underestimated this squirrel, who is basically Goku in squirrel form, complete with his own Kamehameha. This Super Saiyan rodent basically kicked 10 bells of shit at me for 2 whole rounds, handing me my ass on a plate. Not happy with the result of the fight, I demanded a rematch, and the resulting fight went much the same way. Magic Squirrel once again smashed me all over the ring, with me barely getting a hit in. I then decided to change characters, this time going with Slender Cat. But once again, Magic Squirrel was having none of it, and my poor feline character was pummeled into submission in about 30 seconds. I swapped characters again, choosing to play as Walking Cat, and I was pitted against a different opponent, this time Crowrilla, where I managed to put up a bit of a fight, actually winning the first round. But then things went to shit once more, and Crowrilla won the preceding 2 rounds, taking the win. Next I did the sensible thing. I returned to the main menu and, swallowing my pride, I turned down the difficulty to easy. This is something that I'd advise if you're either new to fighting games or if, like me, you're pretty shit at them. I had a much better time in easy mode, and taking control of Muscle Beluga, I fought my way through each opponent, with the fights feeling much more of an even match. I did lose a fight to Mighty Fox, whose face possesses a constantly cocky smile and who never uncrosses his arms, opting instead to kick the shit out of you. But I came back fighting and smashed him up the second time round, though I failed to wipe the look off his stupid face. After completing your 7th and final battle, you'll be shown the game's credit sequence and return to the title screen. The game's versus mode is where you can play against either another human player or an NPC. You can also choose to watch 2 NPCs fight if that's your bag. In versus mode you're able to customise the parameters of your fight, including the number of rounds, each round's time, and the difficulty of your NPC opponent. You then get to select your character and which stage you want to fight on out of 4 available options. Fights in this mode are pretty much the same as arcade mode, and when the fight concludes you can have a rematch or return to the character select screen or main menu. The final mode in the game is online. You begin by selecting the server region that you want to look for matches in, and then you can either select Quick Match to jump into any available matches, or enter the lobby, which will display a list of matches. I found no quick matches in Europe and decided to create my own room, hoping for an opponent to join and challenge me. But after 10 minutes of waiting, nobody came, and I backed out to try a different region. Cycling through Japan, Singapore and US West, I found only empty lobbies. The only luck that I did actually have was in US East, where I found 2 matches. One was locked and the other was open. I decided to join this open game, but I just ended up watching 2 other players duke it out without getting a game myself. So it seems that unlike popular games like Street Fighter V, online battles in Fight of Animals are practically non-existent. So what can I say about my Fight of Animals gameplay experience? Well, firstly, the game's not a bad little fighting game. Combat's pretty fluid, and its controls are simple, with no ridiculous button combinations required to pull off a decent combo. There's even a control mode available when selecting your character called Assistant, which helps you out by performing combos for you at the press of a single button. This is a great inclusion, as it potentially allows younger or less experienced players to enjoy the game as much as veterans of the genre. While the roster of characters is pretty varied and the movesets feel unique, with only 7 characters to choose from, there's likely to be a limit on how much replayability the game currently has to offer. There are however plenty of other animal memes out there with which to expand the roster, and in fact the Steam version of the game, which came out in December 2019, has already seen a new character called Eggdog added, as well as a new stage, so it's likely that the Switch will receive the same additional content in the near future. For a rating, I'd give Fight of Animals 2 out of 5 stars. As it currently stands, the game's a little light on content, and you won't be seeing much online action, not unless the game blows up after this review, so like and share, right? There's plenty of fun to be had in the local multiplayer though, if unlike me, you actually have friends, and hopefully the future has much more additional content in store for the game, which would definitely push up its star rating. You can get the game on the UK Switch eStore for £8.9p, or from the US eStore for $9.99. Alternatively, the game's also available on Steam. And with that, we come to the end of this Fight of Animals review. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing to the channel to be notified when new Switch indie game reviews are published. For now though, I want to say thanks once again for watching, and until next time, game on.